When we start racing in the Italian Championship in the sport production, we've been, I remember, first race, 110 participants in my category.
What?
I promise you.
Oh my
Monza, 89.
I can't imagine.
110 participants. In that 110 participants, there was the people who is still here. There was me, Massimo Meregalli, and Max Biaggi. And this is exactly the three survivors from the 110 participants who started the Italian Championship in the 89. So we've been all 110 full of dreams, but just three are still involved here in motorcycle racing.
So you were just listening to Lucio Cecchinello, former rider and now the inimitable team manager of the LCR Honda team. That's our guest this week, as you may have guessed, and it was an amazing chat once again. It's always interesting to get those figures who have been riders and team managers. They've been on both sides of the fence and have such an amazing story and have also crossed paths with so many different people.
This is the Last on the Brakes podcast.
I forgot that part. Welcome.
I forgot to mention that. My name's Matt Dunn. This is Farron Hard alongside me as ever. Lucio Cecchinello, an actual surprise guest today. We're expecting someone else, but for reasons we can't divulge really. But
I mean, that makes it sound like a lot more mysterious.
It's not actually that sinister, to be honest.
Just didn't quite work out, so we have Lucio.
Timings and everything like that, logistical problems, should we say. But they will be with us at another point throughout the season, which is very exciting. But wow, what I found was an inspirational podcast actually with Lucio Cecchinello, a rider turned team boss who just did everything when he first started out at the age of 25. I think this could be the episode for the budding entrepreneurs out there and people who just really want to understand what it takes to be at the top of the sport for 25 years.
I think definitely, yeah, it is their 25th anniversary, or it was their 25th anniversry just like the day before
31st of March.
We're recording this. So
this has been released quite late, isn't it?
It's Thursday of the Doha GP today. But yeah, it's pretty incredible attitude and just general kind of story of his career and how many different things he's done to get the team off the ground. Those kind of Hervé Poncharal rock and roll Tech 3 vibes as well. All these guys who were here, you know, a couple of decades ago. I love that kind of stuff. Just hearing how they just like had a bike in a crate.
And for someone who has clearly had a lot of stress in their life, from judging by what he told us, he's looking surprisingly good for that amount of stress as well. I think if I had that amount, well, I certainly wouldn't have this much hair, and I'd be a lot more grey. And yeah.
And as you'll hear as well, he has absolutely no intention of stepping away from MotoGP. One of his biggest lockdown discoveries was his pure love of everything that he does in the paddock every day. So that's a really nice note, I think.
Yes, without further ado,
let's go.
Let's take it away.
So as everyone can see, our wonderful guest this week is Lucio Cecchinello. Thank you so much for joining us as well, because we won't go into too many details, but you were a last-minute saviour. We were going to beg you for some time in Portimao, but as it was today. So thank you very much to you for that and for coming on at all. And it's also a great year to speak to you because it's a very special year for you and the team. So we thought we'd start with that. It's 25 years now that the LCR team has been in the World Championship. Could you ever have imagined when it began, with you on the bike as well, that you'd be here now with Premier Class wins and the incredible story that you've written together?
No, I couldn't imagine. I mean, when we started, we really decided last minute. I was European champion in 95, and then I decided, or either I go to race with some teams or either I do my own team. What is the best? And then I started to look at all the possibility to race with some team, and then I felt that I didn't have the perfect opportunity, especially because I was already 25 years old. I was quite late in my age, but in that period, in that era, it wasn't that old. But anyway, I decided, I don't know how many years I can race still in the future. So it's better to prepare the future. So let's do crazy things. And then I do my own team, like in that period, Dirk Claudius had, Jorge Gaspar Martinez had, Cito Pons had. So that riders were my inspiration. And then I said, okay, let's go. But I need to do everything in a couple of weeks, you know.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So from 2 weeks to 25 years later.
Yeah, and then, you know, there was like, wow, what I'm going to do now? So I need to find the mechanics. And then I remember that I had some good mechanic when I was racing in the Italian championship. And then I contacted him, but he had a business. He had a motorcycle dealer. And then he said, "Okay, Lucio, I can find a way to come with you anyway." And then I have another friend who is a bicycle mechanic. He can come with me. He can come with me. I said, the bicycle mechanic, but they have no experience. He has no experience on motorcycle race. No. He is a motorcycle rider as well. He know a lot. He fixes his motorcycle. He go racing by his own. So no problem. Then I trusted so much him. His name is Paolo Cordioli. After he's a very, very well-known technician, because he was our technician, and then also Dani Pedrosa technician, and then also Marquez technicians, and Sebastian Porto technician, Randy De Pugna technician. So anyway, we started really with almost nothing, just a small van, and then we arrived in Malaysia on the 27 March to 96. And the race was 31st March 96. That's why yesterday we said we are going to celebrate, you know. We arrived in Malaysia with only one crate. Imagine, now I have like 52 crates. We arrived just with one crate. There was the motorcycle, and then squeezed all the parts and the laser suit and the helmets and the fuel tank and everything, spare parts, squeezed on a unique single crate. And after so many years, here we are.
That's absolutely crazy.
51 extra crates later.
Yeah. The thing that was that struck me whilst you were telling that story was, and it sounds kind of silly, but you didn't have WhatsApp or smartphones in that time either. Everything would have been done by phone call, talking in person, this and that. That must have been incredibly stressful. How did it feel at the time? Did you register it at the time?
Well, everything, of course, was slower. The world went slower. It was slower, because of all the communication system. And this is exactly what I was thinking right yesterday. I promise you. Right yesterday, I said, how nowadays with all the easy way to communicate with the device that we have to communicate is fantastic, but in that period we just had of course a phone call. In that period I was lucky. I had my own mobile phone,
which in the day was like, I have my own mobile phone.
Oh come on, I'm not that old. Yes,
that was not meant to be an age roast. That was meant to be a phone roast.
No, in reality, yes. Before a couple of years before, there was like the pretty big bag. But in that era there was already the Motorola, the Microtac Motorola, something like this.
Okay, it's fine.
Then we had the fax. Basically, I remember that I was communicating a lot with the sponsor by fax, because in that period, of course, we had email or whatever, but many sponsor company was like a small. Companies around Bologna town, they were like moto club supporters, and they had small businesses, and then they had only the fax, So we sent the press release made by my mom.
No way!
Yes. By fax.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's not something we'd expected to come up in that. We're going to talk about all of the on-track glory and everything else. But before we get on to you more as the team manager and the success you've had later, how was it in the team, riding and managing? How much were you managing? Was it your team in name and then someone else was kind of taking that role? Or it sounds like it was just you, your bike and your guys going racing?
That's the truth, you know. That's the truth, and all the people who worked with me know how much I worked, especially in that era. I mean, I work also very much now, but let's say that maybe that's the reason why I didn't really excel in my motorcycle racing career. I mean, I did quite well, especially by the end of my career. But my dream was to win the world title. I was winning few races. Well, I had several podiums, but I wanted to win the world championship. I arrived twice fourth. In my last year of racing, I was leading the world championship in 2003, and then I had a couple of crashes and so on, so I decided to stop. Anyway, let's say that for sure, from the energy point of view, of course, the fact that I had to put the helmet, I had to train, I had to focus on racing, but as well, on Monday after the race, I have to, come back to the office and organize with my secretary, with my sister, with my mom, all the other things, and then also visit the sponsor and so on. For sure, it took me some energy, out from my potential. But this is my story, and maybe without that, I couldn't be here enjoying so much, keeping my dream going on.
Did you ever get a chance to rest then?
To rest?
Yeah. Did you have a weekend off? Did you sign out of the office?
Yes, of course. Yeah? Well, it was pretty intense. I can tell you that I didn't do many vacation until I was at least 5-6 years later after having set up my own team.
So honestly. Early 30s?
Yes.
Wow.
Before, honestly, I still remember 15 August with my teammate Nobi Ueda. In Italy, Spain, French, 15 August is like, it's the day of the rest. This is the day of the holiday. This is completely off for everybody, This is a must. And I remember that several 15 August I was working, and then I remember exactly 15 August spent the whole day in the office with Ueda, making the budget for the following years, because Ueda was racing with me, but he also helped me a lot to find some Japanese sponsor, to find some some supporter, and then we were working like hell. But at the very end, it's not a sacrifice, because when you love your job, when you really you really want to achieve something, you definitely enjoy work for it, and then it was I never complained because I didn't sleep, because every morning I woke up with so much energy to
going back to something you said before as well, you said it maybe took some energy and you never achieved that dream of becoming world champion, but also you said, well, then if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be where I am now. It sounds like you're really happy with how you've become like team manager and the success as a team manager instead of a rider afterwards, or would you have done things slightly differently?
Well, of course, at the present, I wouldn't change anything, because it's a very privileged position to be in the MotoGP, to work with Honda, to have let's say very good relationship with our team partners. On the other hand, of course, thinking back, I would love to have been able to win some more races, to at least finish in the podium in a World Grand Prix season. But in life, I believe that, of course, you need always to look ahead, but sometimes you also need to stand up, to stop, and then also look behind you. And then if you are able to do that, I think it's also important to not feel frustrated or unhappy, because sometimes it's also good to stop and look behind me. And behind me, I remember that when we start racing in the Italian Championship in the sport production, we've been, I remember, first race, 110 participants in my category.
What?
I promise you.
Oh my
Monza, 89.
I can't imagine.
110 participants. In that 110 participants, there was the people who is still here. There was me, Massimo Meregalli, and Max Biaggi. And this is exactly the 3 survivors from the 110 participants who started the Italian Championship in the 89. So we've been all 110 full of dreams, but just 3 are still involved here in motorcycle racing. And that's why I say, okay, I didn't maybe win as I wanted during my career, especially in the World Championship, but on the other hand, there is a lot of people maybe who are still dreaming to be here.
Can I ask you then, what's your opinion on how hard you worked, not just on focusing on the on-track action, but outside of the track as well? What do you think about riders these days and getting to just focus on what's happening in the session and riding the bike?
This is the correct thing to do, absolutely. It was already correct things to do in my era. But for some reason, the level of the competitors, the level of the competitions was tough, but not as close as now. And the sports itself evolved a lot. And now everything is more close, more tough, more tiny, more. You see the competition, the races. You can see 10 riders fighting in the last lap for the victory. It's something that.
And in MotoGP, not just Moto3.
Exactly, exactly.
It's
so
incredible.
This is something that it shows that all the competitiveness of all competitors are so high. Then you need a rider completely focused on it and just doing it. And because any other things to do would represent a kind of distraction, and I would say definitely it's better how the rider nowadays face their commitment for doing racing.
Okay, that's good. Well, one of the people we want to talk to you about winning now, because you have won Premier Class races. You almost got there first with Casey Stoner, who's one of your most famous, and obviously went on to be a world champion, alumni of the team. How was it working with Casey and those experiences, and also getting so close to that win and kind of being in podium contention?
Casey was a special rider, definitely. I would say yes, the most talented rider we ever had. I don't want, every rider we had, we are very proud. Every rider was special in some concern, was unique. Casey was definitely the most talented rider, because we realized that whatever bike you give him, whatever is the circuit you are going to let him test, or to let him racing, it's like he's able to perform so quick, and to bring at the edge of the performance the bike so fast that with other more normal rider you need more time. Casey was like he arrived here in Qatar. He never tested in Qatar. He arrived in Qatar, and then Friday practice first, Saturday practice pole position, and then in the race he was fighting for the victory, and then he had some tire drop, and then he finished 4th, 5th, I don't remember. Anyway, he was really good. Fantastic to work with him. Very special rider, and we we miss you. We miss him, definitely.
Is that when you started to feel like LCR Honda can be really fighting at the front in MotoGP? That was the first time you'd really kind of mixed it up.
Yeah,
obviously with the Premier class.
Like I was like, almost. I almost didn't understand how could happen. That we arrive in MotoGP. There are, the major manufacturer in the world, the biggest team in the world, and then we arrive just with, some mechanic recovered by my team from 250, some mechanic recovered by Cito Pons team, and then, we didn't have so much experience, and then immediately, thanks to the talent of Casey, bang, pole position. Wow, it was like it was like a dream for me. It was like a dream, really a dream, and I didn't expect. Of course, yes, I regret to not have been able to win a race with him because we were very close a couple of times. Yeah, you are right.
How did the feeling of seeing eventually, moving on, kind of LCR Honda on top of the standings, a race win, how did that compare, that feeling of seeing your name up there, compared to what you felt that would feel like if you won yourself?
It's a different feeling. Definitely between you and me.
Yeah.
Don't say it to anybody, but I much prefer to see my name up there.
I love it.
It's
all of these revelations.
That shows you're a true racer, right there.
Yeah, exactly.
A racer at heart before the manager.
Sorry to say, but there is nothing compared to see your own name in the front of everybody, and then to be the fastest, and then that's you. It's
I did that with my right wrist.
That's it. That's it. The feeling, it's. You feel a different kind of proudness, definitely. But you feel special yourself. You feel, like you are more bigger,
Okay, I love that. So talking about winning feeling then, obviously Cal, he finally brought LCR on top of the podium, not just once, but a few times. Talk us through that first one in Brno. It was incredible to see, obviously, British records all over the shop, but also for you guys in the team, it must have been such a special day.
I tell you, there is a particular moment that I had in the podium in that day. When I jumped in the podium, I had the trophy from the team, and then I take the trophy from the team, and then I bring the trophy from the team in my head, like this. And then there was such intense moment for me there that I felt, goosebumps all over my body, and it was a really, really fantastic feeling because after so many years of trying, of hard work, of, commitment and a lot of also difficulties, because, it's not all the time easy, it's more the time that you have to swallow, and then you have to manage also to overcome the problems, It was a particular moment. And then in that moment, there was a photographer, friend of mine, who made a picture. And then I have made this picture big, like 1 square meter. And then I have this picture in my office, in my apartment, in my garage, in my everywhere.
The press officer Vicky is nodding like she's seen this a few times.
Nice. That is awesome.
We put also yesterday press release. I said, please put this picture.
There you go.
Oh, I love it.
That just I mean, I can't imagine what that must have felt like. I'm really interested to know though your sort of philosophy as a manager, bringing it from the ground up, from making calls, talking to this person when you're 25 to now. How
when
it is
they're
running,
25.
Yeah, when they're 25, running the ship. I'm sure lots of the listeners will be so interested to see how you manage. Do you have like 8 arms, or doing everything still? I imagine.
Well, I have to say, thanks to a lot, I have to recognize. I have to say thank you to my parents first of all, because my parents they give me kind of education where, Lucio, you want to buy a moped, when I was 14. Okay, then you go to work on a bar in the summertime, you know. And then my first job was working like a helper in a bar, making coffee.
Very Italian.
In Gardaland. Gardaland is like a Disneyland.
Near Lake Garda?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You've been there?
I think I've been past it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
So basically, what I want to say is that every time my parents push me to try to own my own stuff. And then the fact that they push me to do things by my own, you know, to earn things by my own, it was really helpful because I started to grow up with a kind of mentality where whenever I need something, action, I do, you know. And then I learned that there is always a way to do things by your own. And then maybe, you know, I didn't know how to catch a sponsor. I didn't know how to do, you know, to organize a team, or I didn't know many things. But at the very end, I realized that there is always a way, you know. And then it's like this. When you really want to do something, sometimes it's like mysteriously some help arrive from external people, you know. It's kind of fantastic. That's why somehow I believe in the universe, you know. It's this, you know.
Do you believe in that sense luck or circumstance? You believe that because you're doing all these other things that you just happen to be in the right place for help to arrive, or do you believe? What's your take on that?
I don't know. It's something very complex.
Quite a deep question for the MotoGP podcast.
I think luck or circumstances is a pretty fair question.
I believe, you know what? I believe that there is a sentence in Italian language say "aiutati che Dio ti aiuta." I believe that if you push yourself to move your ass, if you move your ass, we can say here.
Yeah.
If you move your ass,
say what we want.
somehow somebody will help you. You know, it's like, you know, and then this is something that I don't know why, but it happened always like this, you know, pretty much always. When I had also troubles, when I had to do so many things, I would need 8 arms, but bam, 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 it arrived always, I find a way, you know, somehow I found a way. And, but nowadays it's different. I mean, we are 50 people in the team. We are, of course, we have our, you know, technical department. We have our warehouse. We have our administration department. We have our commercial department. We have our communication department. Everything is split by department. Every department has his own responsible. So of course, I do not take care about everything like before, but I just supervise.
Mm-hmm. It sounds a little bit less stressful in terms of doing everything, but maybe more stressful to just trusting and letting everything happen. not getting too tempted to micromanage. But it seems to be working quite well as we celebrate your 25 years as a team. Like we say, there's 3 Premier Class wins, and now you've got Alex and Taka. Must be quite exciting for you, knowing, like we saw last year, Alex on the podium already with Repsol Honda. Now he's with you. Taka pole position. You excited about this season as well with 2 young riders?
Excited to have Taka confirmed with us for sure for the next 2 years. Excited to have Alex Marquez as well. Very excited because they are young, they are really focused and motivated to make great things for their own career. As well, very excited because, as you said, they have already shown their potential. The potential is there. Of course, to be honest, I'm not so. We are not happy how season started, you know, because unfortunately there was 22 rider started, 3 retired, 3 crash, and then 2 of them was LCR rider.
Yes.
So it honestly, Monday and also Tuesday was pretty heavy for me. But then of course like every time when you have a failure, you have to just try to understand why it happened. You have to try to analyze, and you have to try to, of course, to improve. So we already make a lot of meetings inside with the team, a lot of check with the data, talk with the riders, and then we honestly now we turn the page. We are fully focused on the next Grand Prix, and let's go ahead for the Doha Grand Prix.
So for 25 years, I mean, there's going to have been a lot of moments like that. Not too many, obviously, but how do you pick yourself up after every time? 25 years on, you've had a bad race day, and on the Monday is quite difficult. Has there ever been a moment where you thought, I don't know how long I can keep doing this, or has it always just been, nah, let's go?
So far it's always let's go, absolutely. Of course, I do not hide the fact that sometimes on Monday, for example, or when you have a rider injury, or some after race moment, like Monday, Tuesday, I learned that I need between 24 and 48 hours to find back all the motivation at my maximum, at my best. It was, of course, I had a pretty tough moments, of course. I repeat, especially after rider injury, it's something that you don't really want, But then you set a new plan, new target, and then you restart. And this is what I love from my job. It's because it's always a challenge, a new challenge at the start, a new challenge that you have to plan or you have to face. It's a fantastic. And I tell you one thing. Last year when we had the lockdown, but the real lockdown that we had to stay home, we didn't know if we go racing or not. I stayed in my workshop. I live in my workshop for 2 months.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. I have plenty of video. I need to post some.
Oh wait, I've seen some of that. I saw on your social media a few times. I thought, what's going on there?
Yeah, well, I would need to get out some video. It was interesting kind of life because I was completely alone and then leaving my workshop. But anyway, I took the opportunity to reset the workshop, to clean and to throw away a lot of things and to reorganize, and also to prepare a museum in memory of my father, who was a vintage motorcycle collector. Anyway, I realized in that period that it's so boring to not have any challenge, any phone call, any problem to solve. That I said, no, I hate this life. I don't want to have this life. And this is the nice side of the lockdown. In my case, because I really understood that no, for me, I don't want to think about to retire and to stop my team or to relax, because that's my life. I really like.
Amazing.
Well, that's good. That's a good lockdown revelation. Right, so I think now we'll do what we've decided to do with all of our guests this year. At the end, just some quick fire questions. But this year, the 5 are always the same, so we can compare everyone's answers at the end of the year.
Wow.
They're not too bad.
Do you want to ask what was the last one before first, to give me some time to think?
Yes,
just in
because
case?
we learnt last week we had a bit of a pause.
Yes, we had Marini on last week, and the last question we asked, he said, I actually need more time to think about this, so we'll ask it first this time. So the quickfire questions, number 1 is, you have 3 people you can have dinner with. They're dead or alive. Who are those people from history or around the world today?
Celebrities, anyone
3 people who I would like to have a dinner.
Yeah, in a dinner party.
If you need more time to think, we can give you the second question and we'll come back. What do you reckon?
I would like to have a dinner with some former world champion, because I felt when I had the opportunity to have a dinner with, for example, with Angel Nieto. I had so many good vibe. It sent to me. He gave to me. It was fantastic. So I would like to have a dinner with. I don't know. I would like to have a dinner with Wayne Rene, which was my hero when I was a young guy when I started racing. With definitely with maybe yes, Kevin Schwantz.
Okay.
Okay, this is a
Those two
spicy
together.
dinner party.
Yeah. There's lots of stories in this one.
And also I would say Wayne Garner, because he's another of one of
Love
my
it.
hero.
That era, cool.
Okay, so the next question, a little bit easier. What's your favorite place in the world?
Favorite place in the world? Definitely warmer places.
That narrows it down.
That could be your workshop, to be fair.
No, warm places. I mean, you mean for vacation or for living or for
Anything to live, or where you
To visit.
the most beautiful place you've ever been, or oh, I just
of course. I know. I would say I love very much the sea, the sun, the warm temperature. So I would say any place in Thailand. I would say yes.
Do you know, I thought you might say somewhere like Thailand. Yeah, when you said anything about the warmth. Yeah, okay,
I
cool.
think we're going to go up the podcast charts
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Thailand.
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
so
good do.
thanks for that.
Okay, so who was, when you were younger, your celebrity crush? What was the word in
We
Italian?
learned it in Italian. Cotta. Your first celebrity crush.
Cotta.
Cotta, like
Cotta means that like I got in love.
Yeah,
it's
with
some
a
celebrity.
Yeah, like
But with a
actress,
celebrity.
or who was your favorite kind of when you were younger? Your first celebrity crush.
This I need to think.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Let's move on to
Yes.
the next one. Then we'll come back to that. Was it? Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite dessert?
The cake the cake that Victoria ordered yesterday night for our 25th anniversary.
Yeah? What was it?
That's a good niche but good answer.
What was the cake? What flavour?
Was a cake with the strawberries.
Nice.
With the how you call?
Almonds,
Oh yeah,
Lime.
almonds. Yeah.
cream, and bizcocho.
Okay, so
Very
Vicky
nice.
says almonds, cream, and biscotto. If the
Very
mic didn't
nice.
pick that up. Perfect.
This is honestly my favorite one.
That sounds very
Yeah.
good, to be fair.
So technically the last one is, but we're going to come back to the celebrity crush.
Wow.
Well, do you have any phobias? Things like spiders, snakes, heights, something you
Flying.
find your fears? Like a individual one.
No.
Wow.
Honestly,
Two people we've
That's
asked that, and
cool,
you've both
yeah.
said no. Okay.
Maybe we should change this in the
Yeah.
quickfire round. Maybe
No,
we're
spiders?
just
You're
super
okay with
nervous
spiders?
people.
No, well, of course, I don't like, but I'm
Okay.
not like I
Screaming.
screaming and escape like my mom do with the Mickey Mouse. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Okay, love it. So, celebrity crush.
I was definitely not very very young, but I would say Madonna. Yes.
Okay.
Good answer.
Yeah,
Good,
Madonna
classy answer.
was really cool.
Thumbs up all around for that one. Yeah.
Really
Okay.
cool.
Perfect.
Hey, Lucio, it's been really great to speak to you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Congratulations on 25 years.
Yeah,
Thank you so
and
much.
we hope you have a good race weekend here and then the rest of the season. And
See you when it's the 50th anniversary. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll do a
I
catch up.
agree.
Awesome, perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me.
So, hope you enjoyed that. Perhaps probably one of the most inspirational podcasts we've done before. Not quite so intended. He did ask us when we actually went off. We shut off went off air. That's not really the right word, is it? But he did ask us.
We stopped recording.
Yes, that's the word. Did he talk too much? And we said absolutely. It was perfect. It was really good. Your answers was outstanding. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great. I think one of those, like I said in the intro, Hervé Poncharal kind of vibes. Also, that Lynn Jarvis, Pit Byra. Some of those where you get a bit of a different conversation, because a lot of them do have riding experience, or at least tried to do that, and then now they're on the other side of the fence. I really love those kind of stories, and Lucio's a very interesting one, and the people he's had in his team as well.
I really found he was a very warm character as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
we've obviously, we say hello to him in the paddock, but I wouldn't say we know his press officer rather well, former colleague of ours, but I wouldn't say we're the best of friends, yet he's so willing just to be so open to new people and talk with them.
Good chat. Classic Italian warmth compared to our cold British hearts.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so we hope you enjoyed that. If you didn't, let us know, but kindly. If you did, also let us know by leaving us a comment, or subscribing, liking, all of those things everywhere.
And using the hashtag MotoGP Podcast on Twitter.
Make sure you get in touch there. Any feedback is good feedback, but like I said, be kind, and let us know who you want to hear from in future. If you have anyone in the paddock that we've not talked to yet that you're just dying to hear an episode from.
Yes, when as the season progresses, we plan on making our way through sort of the paddock in and around different personalities, so yeah, we'd love to hear your suggestions as well.
In and around.
Yeah, that's for the people listening to the audio, you didn't see the weird hand jive I did then.
Oh yeah, sorry, I just realised that was a very only for YouTube joke. Matt did a beautiful jive. Well, so we'll leave it at that, and thank you very much for listening. Come back again next time, and
like and subscribe. Bye.